So with the announcement of the Castle Crashers Painter Boss Paradise DLC, I was really inspired to get back into Castle Crashers and make some characters. I played this game throughout high school, on my Xbox 360, and eventually on the Xbox One. With the DLC eventually dropping, I wanted to start a little series here to get these custom characters out there, as this is an amazing opportunity for artists like myself to make their own creations. So I hope you all enjoy these showcases of characters I'll be eventually adding to the Steam Workshop so you can all play them too. Welcome to my Castle Crashers Customs. One part of the main campaign that I think gets a lot of grief, especially in Insane mode, is the desert. It's got 5 total stages, with the desert itself being split in 2. There's the alien ship, and then there's the desert castle with volleyball at the end. It is a long stage, but I don't really mind it too much. One thing I did feel that was missing though, and I think would alleviate a lot of the issues people have with the stage, especially in Insane mode, was a shop. And I thought of a really cool way to introduce a store to the desert section. So I want you to imagine, as you're making your way through the first part of the desert, you get to one of those many sand pits that have the antlions in them. You take it out like normal, but instead of heading forward, you get a little bit curious. Something about the scenery kind of draws you to the center of it. You step inside, let yourself slowly move to the center. You sit there for a second, and just when you think nothing's about to happen, and hello! Alright, so this is the first part of this little showcase, which is going to be the desert store itself that I've illustrated here. So after you stand in that pit and there's a little black screen for loading, your guy, with the little ninja here, he's going to fall through, land right here, and then with just that little bit of time, you'll be able to get up and you can walk around and actually experience the area and what it's got to offer, which isn't a ton, but that is okay. It's supposed to be a small shop. Like all the stores, they're not super big or anything crazy like that. So you just kind of, you have this little secret area. And I guess I'll put the little ninja man over there for now, just so we could take a look at everything. So to start off, I wanted to generally include, a lot of the, here we go. Yeah, there we go. So I wanted to include the vines from up top, just to kind of keep the area consistent. These vines are even growing underground now too. So in between the sand and all the mud and rock and earth that'll be underneath the desert, and because we're underneath that sand pit in question as well, there's gonna be some dead fellas here. There's all the dead scorpions that get sucked down through the antlion pits. And then we have this guy. So this is the desert dweller. He's the owner of this little shop, and he's a little guy. He's a little character right here. He's wearing a skull of someone that died down here. He's silly like that. I wanted him to be visually similar to the antlions themselves. He's kind of like a weird humanoid antlion hybrid thing. And he's got a little store. He's got a business down here. So I want to have a potion, keeping it simple, especially for Insane mode. For people, you get a little bit of a break. You could restock on potions if you've lost any. Because especially heading into the desert, you're going to need max potions on Insane mode. And we have a new weapon, which I'll go into the details for later, but this is the Scorpion Club. I based it off the little lobster weapon. Like I just straight up used the model of the lobster, and I just kind of recolored it, added some extra limbs to make it look like a dead scorpion. So it'll have its own unique stats and everything that I'll go over in the next tab, which is all the assets themselves and just like what the character looks like, and all his forms and all that other extra stuff. And then we have a new animal orb, which is Antlion Jr. I wanted to do an animal orb since it's a shop, and at least most of the later shops you're able to pick up a new animal orb. So I figured, what's a better one than the antlion, who can cover a unique element that doesn't really have a pet to it. Um, and I wanted to add something a little unique as well, so there's more reasons to actually go to the shop besides just a health pickup for the desert on insane mode, which could get a little crazy. But what I think is cool, about the visual, a little bit of storytelling. He's living down here, he's selling stuff, and there's the ladder to leave. So, if you are so inclined, after you get all your stuff and you run up to him and the little, the text bubbles or whatever random stuff he'd say would pop up, you can make your way back up the ladder, and you'll return to right next to the to that sand pit that you fell in, and then you can go back in and re-enter the shop whenever you want. I would like there to be a map icon for it, where you can actively select it and just go to the shop if you want to. Simple stuff like stuff like how every shop in the game works. Um, so this is the shop itself. I'm a big fan of the visual. I like got the damaged house up here. I got this from. There's a rip of a lot of the assets for the game. Everything else that I've grabbed, I either grab it myself through my own little like video capture and that kind of thing, or I grabbed it through like the wiki that has like sprites and everything uploaded. So that's where you could find a lot of your own stuff, and there is an actual Google Drive rip of some pretty cool of a lot of the assets for the game. So if you ever wanted to make your own shit, you can, use set pieces that already exist in the game and add on top of it and make your own stuff. So this is the shop, and I think something that would be unique is that you'll be able to unlock the Desert Dweller as a playable character, and when he is playable and you were to visit the shop itself, I think something I would like is that if you're playing as him, something just visual is that he doesn't appear here. So if you're running around with him in the shop, he's not here. And then you leave and all that stuff. So just attentions to detail and stuff to keep it um, cool, and a little extra details to make it fun. So this is the end of the shop itself. And I'm not going to do an entire new area for every character. The Desert Dweller just was a bit more unique because I wanted to add more to the desert itself, because I feel like it deserves a little extra um, care and consideration, it's a cool area, and I wish it had more to it so that it didn't get as much flack as it does. So, with that said, just a little quick save, and now we're going to move on to examining all the assets and characters themselves. So this is the Desert Dweller as a playable character. Here's his unique weapon. There's the version of him without the weapon holding, but that's okay. So this is him. I wanted to give him a unique weapon, bone themed. Just because he's collecting bones and wearing his armor and using it as weapons. Thought the visual was cool. So this is him as a playable character. Here's the sprite, just of him at the shop, hands to himself kind of thing. So after that, here we have his portrait. And unlike a lot of the standard portraits in the game, which usually just have either like a gradient or a solid color behind them, for a decent amount of mine, I wanted to do at least something a bit more visually interesting. Not all of them. Some of them just have a simple color background and you call it a day, that's fine. But for the desert guy, I wanted to give him the desert in the back. Just something nice. I have him holding a bag of gold, since he's a shopkeep and money's a part of it as well. So I want to do that. So then we have him here, and then we have his back off barbarian sprite, which I've done a sprite for all the characters that I've made, not just the three that you probably saw when I was editing the section beforehand. There's going to be a decent amount more. And to my understanding, you can make your own sprite for the Back Off Barbarian as well. So I wanted to have them ready just in case you could add them. And if not, then that's okay. Here's a little unique key art that you get to see in this video of the character. And then last but not least, what happens when we take this little guy and feed him a delicious sandwich? Well, you get this. And here's the beefy version. So, the thing with these characters and the way that the DLC will work, if you haven't seen it yourself, is that you'll have to draw out the frames yourself for the body and the heads. The arms will be all the same. And even though if they're different in my art, I don't really care that much if they have like the standard like armor arms and legs. Like I don't really mind. But I have all the individual frames drawn for the heads and then the beefy body and all that good stuff. But this is our beefy boy right here. And then after the character themselves, I have the custom made items and weapons and shit. So here's just a little display board. So this is the Scorpion Club. These are its stats here. A +2 in strength, magic, and defense. And then a 3% chance to inflict poison. I wanted to make the weapons, like, good. You know, I wanted all of them to have a degree of usability where you can mix and match and you're not just defaulting to the club or the glow stick or the man catcher. Like I wanted there to be enough varieties so that people would want to use these weapons more than just the visual. It's like the stats are actually beneficial. So besides the Scorpion Club, we have the Dweller's unique weapon, which you would be able to unlock by unlocking the character himself, which I think would be cool and to give you more incentive to complete Insane Mode. I would have a lot of these characters be unlocked playing through Insane Mode. So obviously, if you beat the Desert Castle roof on Insane Mode, you would unlock the Desert Dweller. So here's his unique weapon, the Whack of Ribs, as opposed to a Rack of Ribs. But yeah, here's the Whack of Ribs. And I made this one pretty strong, I think. A +4 in strength and defense, and then a little extra agility. And then a 1% crit chance. I think that's pretty solid. It's a cool. I think it's a pretty funky looking weapon. It's a spiky bone mace made out of someone's ribs with some sharpened bone bits on it and all that stuff. You know, an iconic bludgeoning to death weapon. But this is his unique weapon. You'd unlock this by unlocking the character. And for the last part of this little showcase here, we have Antlion Jr. So he would be unique. I would want him to essentially be a poison version of Dragonhead or the Seal, but I wanted him to be a little bit better. And to my knowledge, I have it. I'll throw it up here if it is the case, but I don't know if Dragonhead and the Seal give you additional stats on top of shooting the little projectile, but they kind of suck. So I would like Antlion Jr. to just be a better version of those two that shoots poison and gives you some extra health and defense on top of it. So it's a defensive pet, gives you a little extra life, and also can shoots poison, which can affect everything, I think, besides like the skeletons, the fishman, and the cult minions, since they're immune to all elemental stuff. But yeah, I love Antlion Jr. I love the little design I came up with where I took the bib on the big ones and turned it into a little bandana on that guy. I think it's pretty slick. Pretty slick. I like it quite a bit. So, yeah, here's the complete assets. I'm not gonna go like frame by frame with all the animations because you'll see them in the game itself. Because I'm gonna do a showcase of the gameplay with all the unique characters once the DLC officially drops. And I guess as a random little tack on here, The later videos will be shorter, since not all of them are going to have that little extended section at the beginning, like talking about the series and stuff. I'll get more concise as I go through all the characters, just because I don't want to go crazy like over editing or any of that kind of stuff. I just want to get right to the meat and bones of the the characters and what I've designed for them and all that kind of stuff. And I, I want to get these out pretty consistently so I can get ahead of the game and not lose on any time before the DLC drops. I'm rambling here. This is very unscripted, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed the first of many of these little showcase videos, and I can't wait to stream the characters officially and show you guys what they look like in game. But I appreciate everybody tuning in for this video and checking out this stuff, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys stick around for the next one, and I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching.